Talking about car problems isn't something anyone enjoys doing. Buying a vehicle is a significant investment, not just in economic terms but also emotionally. We're excited to have a reliable means of transportation, something that will be with us through thick and thin. However, like any machine, the car experiences wear and tear. Metal parts that rub against each other, electrical components that fatigue over time, fluids that lose their properties, and so on. Nothing is eternal, and that includes our faithful road companion. That's why it's essential to pay attention to certain signs that indicate something's not right. Throughout the video, we will present 7 key signs that are often ignored or overlooked, but should really set off our alarm bells. After going over these signs, we'll also talk about some general maintenance tips and what you can do if you notice any of these alarms. And solutions. 1. Strange engine noises. Let's start with one of the most common signs, but also the more ignored ones, the unusual noises coming from the engine. A healthy engine usually maintains a relatively uniform sound. No clanking, squeaking, high-pitched or irregular buzzing sounds. When your engine makes unusual sounds, it's not just a whim. It's usually a sign that something inside isn't working as it should. For example, if you hear a metallic knocking sound that increases with revs, this could indicate a problem with the connecting rods or bearings. These are essential parts keep the engine's stability and internal functionality. A high-pitched squealing noise when starting the car or accelerating could be related to the accessory belt, which, when loose or worn, slips on the pulleys. If that squealing noise goes unaddressed, you could be facing belt breakage, leading to failure of vital components such as the water pump or alternator. A noise is a rattling noise when starting from cold, which can sometimes indicate worn valve train parts or problems with the camshaft. Also, a buzzing sound that gets louder. When accelerating, it may suggest worn bearings in the transmission or alternator. Each of these noises is a language the engine uses to tell you that something's not right. The main mistake is to think that as long as the car is moving, no problem. Many drivers ignore the sounds, hoping they'll just go away on their own. However, this doesn't happen in most cases. On the contrary, the problem gets worse. A slight noise today can turn into a bigger problem tomorrow, multiplying the repair costs. What to do if you notice strange noises from the engine? First of all, don't ignore them. Try to identify where they're coming from, what circumstances they occur. Do they show up when engine is cold? Just when you accelerate suddenly? Are they consistent? Gather as much information as you can and take it to a trusted mechanic. The professionals will be able to diagnose the cause of the noise more accurately, using specialized tools and their experience. Acting in time is key. A part that sounds strange today could break down in a few weeks, causing chain damage to other components. Also, an engine with internal friction problems or damaged parts, it can lose efficiency, increasing fuel consumption and reducing available power. At the end of the day, that strange noise is a form of early warning, and turning a blind eye can end up being very costly. So, unusual vibrations or shakes. Let's move on to another type of signal underestimated. The unusual vibrations or shakes you feel while driving. A well-balanced car, with its wheels aligned and its components in good condition, should provide a smooth ride. Excessive vibrations can be a warning that something in the car's mechanics needs urgent attention. One of the most common causes of vibrations is a problem with the tires or the wheel alignment. If the vibration is especially noticeable at certain speeds, it could indicate that the wheels are unbalanced. This imbalance is not only significantly annoying, but also causes uneven tire wear and affects fuel efficiency. Worse yet, improper alignment can damage the suspension and compromise vehicle stability. Another common source of vibrations can be the transmission. If you feel your car shaking when you shift gears or accelerate, there may be a problem with the clutch in manual vehicles or with the gearbox in automatic transmissions. Even worn or worn-out engine or transmission mounts can cause these vibrations or shakes. Suspension is another system that, if not in good condition, manifests as vibrations. Worn-out shock absorbers, loose ball joints, or bad suspension bushings can cause a constant shaking. Also, if the vibration gets worse when you brake, the problem could be with warped brake discs, which cause a back-and-forth motion in the pedal and the steering. How dangerous is it to ignore vibrations? Very dangerous, especially because the underlying cause could get worse. Misaligned tires not only wear out the tire prematurely, but they can also lead to a loss of control during critical maneuvers. A bad suspension worsens the vehicle's ability to absorb bumps and maintain stability, increasing the risk of accidents. And if the problem lies in the transmission, ignoring it could lead to an expensive repair. When you detect vibrations, the first step is to try to identify under what conditions they occur. Do they happen at high speeds? When you brake? When turn? Steering wheel? These details will help the mechanic speed up the diagnosis process. Next, take your vehicle in for a checkup. A simple tire balancing or a professional alignment could solve the problem. Other times, it may be necessary to replace a worn-out part or adjust components of the transmission. As with all warning signs, timing is crucial. The longer you wait, the more damage could be caused and the higher the investment in repairs. Plus, driving a vibrating car isn't just uncomfortable, it can also be unsafe. Vibrations indicate something is out of balance. Paying attention to these signals and acting in time will ensure a comfortable, safe, economical drive. Warning lights on the dashboard. The dashboard in your car isn't just there to show you the speed or the fuel level. It's a vital information center. Warning lights aren't just flashy decorations. They're designed to alert you when something's not right. A check engine light, for example, can come on for hundreds of reasons, such as overheating, from a faulty oxygen sensor to a serious internal combustion issue. Ignoring that light, hoping it will turn off, is a common and big mistake. Other lights deserve your attention. For example, the oil pressure light. If it comes on, it means the engine is not receiving proper lubrication. This is not a minor issue. A poorly lubricated engine can suffer severe damage in minutes. The brake system light is also critical. If it lights up, it could indicate warm brake pads, low fluid levels, or issues with the ABS system. Driving while ignoring these warnings puts your safety and that of others at risk. Fluid leaks. The next point that goes hand in hand with warning lights is fluid leaks, such as those under the car. A car uses several fluids: oil, coolant, brake fluid, power steering fluid, among others. Each one has its own function specifics. If you notice stains on the floor where you usually park your vehicle, it is a warning sign. An oil drip can indicate a damaged gasket or a worn seal. Oil is essential for engine life. Without proper lubrication, the metal parts wear out quickly. Coolant leaks are equally serious, as the engine needs optimal temperature to operate. Overheating can cause deformation of internal parts and damage that requires costly repairs. Loss of brake fluid, on the other hand, is a matter of maximum safety. If the system doesn't have the necessary pressure, the brakes can fail at the worst possible moment. Don't underestimate these signals. The lights on the dashboard are the car's digital language, while leaks are physical indicators of trouble. Together, they are telling you that something is not right. If a warning light comes on, check your owner's manual to understand its meaning. Some cases can be resolved by checking the fluid level, while others require mechanical intervention. On the other hand, if you notice a leak, try to identify what type of fluid it is. The oil is dark and oily. Coolant is usually green, pink, or blue, and it has a sweet smell. Brake fluid is clear and oily to touch. This information will help the mechanic determine the cause. Undervalue tackling these signs in a timely manner. Light dash leak. Both require action to prevent damage. And above all, ensure your safety. 5. Strange smells. Smells can be a very useful clue. If something is burning, melting, or leaking, your nose will be one of the first to know. A burning wire smell indicates electrical problems, while a burnt rubber smell suggests a belt or hose rubbing somewhere it shouldn't. A rotten egg smell could be related to the catalytic converter, which, if clogged, can be quite unpleasant. It affects engine performance and can cause long-term damage. The smell of gasoline in the cabin is a sign. Critically, it could indicate a fuel system leak, which is potentially very dangerous due to the risk of fire. Don't ignore this kind of smell. Turn off the car and seek professional help right away. Even a sweet smell, which might be tempting to ignore, indicates a possible coolant leak. Letting these leaks go on can lead to overheating and internal damage to the engine. Difficulty starting or loss of power. Difficulty starting or loss of power are very clear signs of mechanical or electrical problems. If when you turn the key, the engine struggles to crank, there could be an issue with the battery, the starter motor, or even the fuel injection system. An engine that takes a long time to start or needs several attempts to crank is not functioning properly. Loss of power when accelerating is another warning sign. If you notice that your car is not responding as it used to, that it has trouble going up hills or maintaining speed, something is wrong. It could be a dirty air filter, worn-out spark plugs, clogged injectors, or even a problem with the turbo, if your vehicle has one. In more serious cases, internal engine problems like a lack of compression could be the root cause of the loss of power. The reaction to these signals should be immediate. Weird smells are like a cry from the car. You shouldn't drive a vehicle that smells like fuel, burnt rubber, or coolant. Turn off car. Check carefully, and if you can't find the cause, take it to a professional. The same goes for loss of power or starting difficulties. Ignoring these problems will only make the situation worse and drive up the repair costs. The key, once again, is prevention. A vehicle in good condition with up-to-date maintenance rarely presents these types of symptoms. Changing filters, spark plugs, checking the injection system and the electrical system periodically is investing in the longevity and safety of your car. It's also a good idea to pay attention to any changes in the engine's behavior. If you notice that it's struggling to respond more or that fuel consumption is increasing, which we'll cover in the next segment, you already have a hint that something's wrong. In short, essentially, your nose and your sense of touch when starting the car can be valuable tools. Pay attention to these warnings and take action before the damage gets worse. 7. Abnormal fuel consumption. If you notice your car is guzzling more gasoline, diesel, gas than usual without a change in your driving habits, it's a sign you shouldn't ignore. An increase in fuel consumption indicates that the engine isn't running efficiently. This could be due to dirty air filters, faulty sensors, clogged injectors, worn-out spark plugs, or issues in the exhaust system. Why is it important to notice this signal? Besides the economic impact, excessive fuel consumption means you're losing efficiency and polluting the environment more. An engine that burns fuel poorly produces more harmful emissions and can damage the catalytic converter, an expensive part that plays an essential role in emissions control. The good news is that many of these problems can be prevented with proper maintenance. Change filters, regularly check the spark plugs, keep the fuel injection system clean, and make sure the sensors are working properly. These are small actions prevent big damage. It's also crucial to check the tire pressure, as improper pressure creates more rolling resistance, which increases fuel consumption. Besides maintenance, your driving style influences consumption. Sudden acceleration, hard braking, and revving the engine unnecessarily, such as increased fuel consumption. If you notice unusual consumption, first check your driving habits. If these haven't changed, then it's time to check the car.